broke her back, that touchdown right before the half. If we could have held them out right then, we'd still been up 2. They got the ball first in the second half. And if I'm not mistaken, they scored then. And I'm not sure they scored another touchdown after that, did they? They kicked a field goal. Johnny had to be excited. He finally got to see a field goal kicked.
Had a really good kicker.
Yeah, I mean, he would put it on the.
Oh, since we're talking about high school kickers, 67-yarder.
I hadn't heard about that.
I think it was Friday night. School in Texas broke an NFL records. 67 yards. High school.
Yeah,
but anyway, got the field goal. Lane 14 for 25 threw a touchdown, had 2 picks. I thought he had one questionable decision. He threw into double coverage, but moved to football. I think Lane ran for 170 himself. We're not getting much production. Of course, Morris, I think, had 5 carries, Scott, and Ryder Rogers had a couple.
Yeah, Lane had 20 of the 27.
So, Lane was pretty much all the production on the ground. They really, I think, rolled that double coverage over on Solomon Stonebreaker, left Aiden a few more opportunities, and helped me, the other receiver.
Jaden had a touchdown.
Jaden Miller had a touchdown. He caught 2 balls. We had a big turnover there. Hart County actually turned it over twice in the first half. You could almost say there was a couple missed opportunities in the first half. We didn't take advantage of those turnovers. One of them was right after a pick, and it kind of turned the momentum. But that touchdown before halftime, that 30-some yard penalty or whatever, it just and then Hart got the ball, I think, to start the second half, and they scored. And then
2 scores in.
Yeah, body language changed a little bit at that point.
Dropped. You're right.
And I think Coach Stonebreaker had mentioned everybody in the district going into that Friday night was undefeated above them.
Yeah,
which was really different. Yeah. And then, of course, Franklin Simpson defeating Glasgow. That was a little bit of a surprise.
By 2 touchdowns especially. I was really surprised at that.
But Hart County, they're awful good. They've got all those kids that are 5-year guys from COVID. Took that extra year. They're old. They're strong. They got a good quarterback. They only threw the ball 4 times. They were 4 for 4 for 53 yards, but very efficient. And you kind of know what's coming. And Coach Stonebreaker talked about it, Scott. They do a really good job at kind of overloading sides.
You could see it.
Yeah.
You could see it before the ball snapped. You knew where the ball was going.
Because they'll pull people. They'll kind of run. Sometimes they run out of the wing tee, but they'll run power to one side, and they just try to get more bodies than you've got over there. Nothing fancy. And then they'll set up a reverse or a counter off of it. But, Scott.
I'm sorry, I was looking up cross country.
Oh, okay. But Chris,
before you go on, I just want to talk about for a moment. I asked last week with Ty in here as well about the mood of the team, and no one's up for moral victories. You want to win. You want to win. That's why you play the game. And it just seems like to me this Adair County team has played everybody in the district so far, and I know they still have Butler to go, but they've played them tough. Now they've come out on losing it each time, and that's got to be a little demoralizing. What's your take on? I know you said their heads were kind of down a little bit in that second half, but they got one more district game to go. They get a bye week this week, which I think is probably welcome at this point.
Yeah. And on paper, they're going to be a big favorite in the Butler game, so they just need to make sure they don't have a letdown in that game.
It's the playoffs, or if you lose this game, you're out of the playoffs, right?
You got to win to get in, and then we would travel probably to Union County, Scott. Is that correct?
It's almost a given on that now.
And that's kind of what we wanted to stay away from, but playing Union would be a lot better than not playing at all.
Yeah.
We talked about the 2, 3, 4 on that side. This looked very similar to
they're ranked below us in every poll, every computer poll. Their second place team is like 20th in 3A. We're 13th. So I mean, but Union's fourth, so it's a big drop off after them. So I wouldn't be shocked at all to see three first round, at least three of our teams.
I try to stay positive on the show.
Well, you are a positive individual.
I want the community has got behind this football team.
They really
have. We've had huge crowds, and Coach Stoneberger has done a tremendous job. I know he would probably tell you the same thing. He's a little disappointed with some of the penalties, if we can somehow win out here and go 7-3 and get in the playoffs, I think you would have to say that we've had a really we've reached some goals for this year. But
and I'll be honest with you, if we don't go 7-3, I'll be disappointed. I mean, we should be the favorites in these last three games. I know you can't put it on paper, but we should win these last three games just from what we've seen so far of these other teams that we're playing against.
But Chris, back to your question, I think with Solomon and Lane and of course some of these offensive linemen and defensive linemen who are senior dominated, I think they'll be a leader. They'll provide leadership and get the guys together because we're really not hurt. That's a good thing. We're not injured, and roll through this thing. And you never know. Get hot at the right time, go in there and win one. But
they're off this week. Up next is Butler at home. That's a week from this Friday, October 13th.
Homecoming also.
They'll finish out the season on the road at McQuarrie Central and then home against Metcalfe County. So, again, still lots to play for, especially next Friday night. I mean, a playoff spot on the line.
It's exactly what it'll be. I mean, I think the winner of that game, because I don't see obviously that's our last district game, but I think Butler's got one left after that. But I think it's Glasgow, if I'm not mistaken, who they have left. So chances are they're probably not going to win that game. So if you get the thing is too, if you beat them, you got the head-to-head tiebreaker, even if they do beat somebody else.
Right.
So it's either win or go home after 2 more weeks.
All right, that's Adair County football. Anything else on Adair County football?
No, that's all I have.
Just real quick, you said, Scott, when I said something about going into the bye, it comes at a good time. What each coach is different how they handle bye weeks. What about Coach Stoneberger?
They get the week off. So let everybody clear their heads and come back fresh Monday.
You like that?
I'm fine with not practicing. I kind of wish they'd have got together a little bit just to lift or do a few things. To me, and I've had to say after mine, is as big a boy as he is, that week off not doing anything, you need to be moving a little bit. Get out of shape in a hurry.
Well, or it could be like at my house. We don't buy the junk food for a diabetic like me to eat. So it was so convenient.
So who buys it for you then?
It was we stand by. So it's so convenient, Scott. So just don't have it.
You find it somewhere, right? All right, let's talk a little Adair County volleyball. 12-15 on the season. Picked up a couple wins since we last talked. Wins over Caverna and Cumberland County. They got 2 more to go, but they're off for break this week. John, you got any updates for?
No, not from shit. I'm just checking the KHSAA and Scott.
They're off this week.
Are they taking off this week too?
They actually have practice today, but they're no games.
So they're going to practice.
They practiced today, and I think they might practice Friday, maybe. I'm not positive.
With 2 games left, almost a chance. I mean, if you win that district game, you could be 500. I mean, I would think that's a huge improvement from last year. I mean, they had some struggles last year, and they've been pretty competitive, it looks like, in most of their games.
Yeah, we talked about last week, the heartbreaker last Tuesday at Campbellsville. We were up 2-1 and lost the 4th and 5th set both. If we could have beat Campbellsville, we'd have been the 3 seed. And there's not, just from what games I've seen of us, Campbellsville and Marion, there's not a big difference in that. Now Taylor will be an overwhelming favorite against us in the district now that we're the 4 seed, but it'd been really neat if they could have pulled that one off.
Again, not about moral victories, and that's not what I'm talking about here. But with the football program and the volleyball program and some of the other programs, it's been a feel-good portion of the fall, and I hope that carries into the winter sports.
Yeah, I mean, I think some really good hires in both those areas.
Yeah.
And coaches have definitely made some improvements, and moving forward, I think it's a lot to be excited about. I agree. My opinion.
Cross country, you got
Looks like they went to Lexington yesterday. I do have. I don't have any team results, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure we have enough running to have a team score. So, but individual, it looks like this is the meet of champions, I think it's called in Lexington. Looks like several hundred runners. But in the girls' race, Brianna Hillock finished 75th. In the boys' race, let me find him here. Luke Rich was 136th, and also 160th was Antonio Owens in the boys' race. So that's winding down. Also, I was just looking at their schedule. They've got looks like one more meet, and then the regional meet in track and cross country. You don't have a district; you have a regional meet. So they'll compete in that, and I think in a couple of weeks actually.
And, of course, he's not listening, but I want to wish my nephew, he's playing in the state golf tournament.
I heard about this.
On Friday.
It's great.
Friday and Saturday down at Bowling Green Country Club. So I'm gonna go down and walk a few holes and follow him around and grab some lunch down there somewhere. But
you know what the good thing is we archive these, so you can go on YouTube and watch it and hear you call him or give him a shout out.
Yeah, he's true. But his name's Seth Shelley, and he won that region individually for Spencer County, and he qualified in the semi-state up at the Willows in Covington, and he tees off at 8:30 Friday morning. So I'm excited. He's a senior, so I'm excited to walk around and follow.
You said he really overcome some adversity in that semi-state round.
Oh yeah, he did. Had to get up and down to. Well, that was in the regional final.
Okay.
He had to get up and hit a ball in the water. He had to get up and down to make bogey. He had a one-shot lead, up and down to make bogey to force a playoff, and he won the sudden death playoff. So, yeah, he does a good job. I really enjoy watching all those kids down there at Bowling Green, and that's such a tough course.
Oh, courses are rough.
They're so good. Those guys are so good. When you get there, they're all pretty good.
Yeah, I noticed the girls started yesterday. I don't know what happened today. It was the last day of it, but I noticed there was one young lady. She shot like a 5 under, and the next closest score was like a 3 or 4 over, and she had a round of her life right there.
I believe. And now is that Metcalf or Cumberland? It's got the really good young golfer.
Cumberland, Kinsey Whelan.
It's Chris Melton's niece.
Oh, is it Kinsey?
Yeah. So,
I know her brother. I know the family. Hayden played baseball with her older brother.
She won that semi-state. Now I don't know.
I'm not positive. I know she qualified for the state.
She's really good.
Yes.
Just
a freshman.
Last So
Cumberland County.
Yeah, So my sister and her mom were, I think this is right, were best friends in high school. So they're
Christy.
Yeah. So yeah,
Laney's her dad. Laney's a mess.
Laney, you can watch YouTube and you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Laney. He's one of my best buddies from over there.
But congratulations to her.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to step away for a couple minutes. When we come back, we will look at Lindsey Wilson athletics. This is the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk live and local.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery. Whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries, our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first. Team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Fork Broadcasting Columbia always loves to hear from you. Send us a message on the J&S Auto Sales text line anytime, 270-384-2134.
This is Dr. Janella Brown. I have been serving Columbia and surrounding areas as a dentist for 29 years. My husband, Randy, and I have raised our 3 children in Adair County and are proud to call it home. Our office is now part of the Raleigh Dental Group. We are still offering the same great dental care, just with a different name. Our direct dental care staff is still the same, and we are here to serve you. Come see me and our great staff at Raleigh Dental Group, 318 Public Square, Columbia, Kentucky, or call 270-384-3481. When you call, ask about our great membership plan.
Welcome back to J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk live and local. Our sponsors are United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, Lindsey Wilson College. Our title sponsors, J&S Auto Sales. Let's talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics. Fall season's in full force. Lindsey Wilson football picked up a win on Saturday. It was homecoming on the Hill, and the Blue Raiders beat Faulkner 49-21. Special teams was kind of the story in this game. Well, special teams and defense. Defense had its best game of the day, even though they gave up some points. Just gave up a couple of big plays, and then there was through 4 interceptions in the game did the Blue Raiders, giving the ball to Faulkner in kind of some bad spots. You don't lose the turnover battle too often and go on to a 28-point win, but that's what happened on Saturday. Lindsey Wilson had 2 punt returns for a touchdown. One was 78 yards, I believe, and the other one was 54, something like that. And then the defense, there was a sack strip for a fumble recovery, and that one was returned 40-something yards for a touchdown. So you got 21 points off of your special teams and defense. John, you're going to win a lot of football games when you can do that.
Well, yeah, your defense was backed up all night. I listened to the game, and I thought played pretty well. Just those picks gave the ball to Faulkner, in some tough situations. So I thought really defense I thought played pretty well.
Javius Dawson had another big day, ran for 90 yards. Not what his Bluefield total was with 252, but ran for 90 yards, had 3 touchdowns again this past week. That's 6 touchdowns over the 2 weeks. He's leading the Mid-South in rushing touchdowns. So just like Adair County, Lindsey Wilson's off this week. They practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and they're practicing right now. We'll practice tomorrow, and then Coach Kleckler will give them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off and be back in for Monday as we start prepare for Campbellsville. So that's the next game for the Blue Raiders. They'll travel up to Campbellsville for the annual battle of Highway 55. That's next Saturday, the 14th.
I thought they played them over there last year. Did they not?
Nope, played them at home.
Years mixed up.
Chris, just not to interrupt you, but your thoughts on Campbellsville?
Well, they have a new coach. He's a pass-happy guy. He was a quarterback at Campbellsville, so that just kind of fits. They lost their first 2 games. They lost to Pikeville at home in a game they should have won. They had the ball up 6 late in the 4th quarter, went for it in plus territory on 4th and 1, didn't get it. Pikeville until defense stopped them, and they marched down the field and scored with like less than a minute to go, 1-1. So I guess you have to apply. That was game number 1 of Jake Russell's Campbellsville coaching career. I like the confidence he was trying to show in his offense and the willingness to go for it there. But man, you got to, unless, and I don't know the circumstance. This isn't a criticism at all. It's just looking at the stats. If you have a chance to go up 2 scores in 4 minutes, less than 3 or 4 minutes left in the game, I got to think you got to try to do that. But he went.
Also, they were in field goal range.
They were in field goal range. They were. I think it was like 20-yard line, something like that. So anyway, that's what at least that's what the stats tell me. And then they went on the road at Bluefield and lost a shootout up there. But since then, they've got hot. They've won 3 in a row. They beat Kentucky Christian. They beat don't remember who the other team they beat, but then they beat Cumberland University last week. So that's and then they play Faulkner this week on the road. So that's Campbellsville's.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
I'm just curious how Campbellsville.
Yeah. I think they could be a dangerous team. They like to throw the ball around, and Bluefield scored 28 points against us, and they like to throw the ball around. So it'll be a good game. We'll see how it goes. Again, Lindsey Wilson off this week. They are 1-0 in the Mid-South Conference and stayed at number 10 this week in the national poll. Men's soccer and women's soccer is actually playing. The women's soccer team is playing right now. They're at home. I'll look here in just a second to see what if we have a score. But women's soccer is playing Bethel in a Mid-South Conference home opener of this 23 season. Bethel has already beaten a couple of nationally ranked teams. It'll be a tough test for the women who are 3-6 on the season, not having a good year at all at this point. But conference plays a new season, and maybe they can upset Bethel here tonight. The men's team is ranked 5th in the country. They're 7-2 and 1, and they are hosting Bethel tonight at 7:00. So if you're in the area, want to watch some good soccer, you can go down to Walter S. Ruling Stadium and Ray Wells Field, and you can watch Lindsey Wilson host Bethel. Men's and women's swimming teams, they kicked off their season last weekend at the Dr. Dillery Fall Frenzy. The men finished first, the women second, and they'll take on Shawnee State on October 7th in Portsmouth. And the volleyball team's 9-9 on the season. They lost at Bethel and then won at Free. They'll take on Cumberland University on Friday night actually at home. And then the archery team is on the road at their national championship. It's the 3D Nationals down in Foley, Alabama. Again, football off this week. Soccer playing right now at Walter S. Ruling Stadium. So if you're around and you want to go down, you should take a look. That's my Lindsey Wilson report. I didn't know if you were looking at score.
0-0.
Still scoreless in that one. Yeah. Probably about 29 minutes into the game. I think that clock counts out.
It counts out. Okay, 21:50.
Yeah. Okay, so still early stages of that one. We're going to step away for
2 shots each for each team.
Do what?
2 shots each for each team.
And that's live up to the minute stats from Scott Bennett. We're going to step away for a couple minutes. We'll come back. Big win for UK football this week. Big win for U of L football. They're both 5-0. We'll talk about it when we come back. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosalesky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery. Whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries, our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first. Team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Hi, this is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Celebrating a birthday or anniversary? WAIN wants to hear from you. Birthdays and anniversaries brought to you by Betty's OK Country Cooking. Weekday mornings at around 7:20 on McKinney in the Morning. Call or text anytime. 270-384-2134. Birthdays and anniversaries brought to you by Betty's OK Country Cooking at 2339 Campbellsville Road, Columbia.
She wants to be home with her friends, but at this moment, she's fighting a brain tumor.
Please take a moment and join St. Jude in finding cures and saving children. Visit stjude.org.
Welcome back to JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors are TJ Regional Health, United Citizens Bank, Lindsey Wilson College, our title sponsor, JNS Auto Sales. John Cats with a big win, 33-14 over Florida last week. Were you surprised by the win, and B, were you surprised by the way they won?
Yeah, the way they did it. I mean, it was the Ray Davis show. I mean,
he's not bad.
He's pretty good, and you know. They just didn't have to throw the football. They were rushing it so well, so many big plays. Their defense played so well. They just kept handing it off to Ray. Some people have been critical of Leary and his accuracy, but he didn't have to do much in that game, which now goes to the next step. I think Georgia will stop the run. They're going to have to throw the ball. So, how's that going to work out against that Georgia defense? I think Kentucky on defense, of course, on paper with the star ratings, they've got the highest number of highly rated players on defense they've ever had up there. So
they look the part too.
They run well. I thought they played really well against Florida, and so I think they've got an outside shot against the Dogs this weekend. I really do.
My favorite thing from the past game against Florida, of course, Deion Walker gets a lot of praise for rushing and stopping the run, but when he dropped back in pass coverage and caused that interception, I don't know if y'all noticed it or not, the interception that UK had, Walker hit that kid and turned him upside down. It was hilarious, but that kid, he could be a real high draft pick. Of course, it's odd to me, and I heard it said on KSR this week that honestly, can you look at it and say Kentucky had better players all over the field than Florida does, which sounds odd to say, but really they probably did.
Chris, I'm gonna throw a question at you. I've really been questioning this non-conference schedule, especially with all this action early. Is it a way that they can really hide a lot of things.
Yep.
Be 4-0, come into this game against Florida.
Yep.
And they ran a lot of stunts, a lot of blitz stunts that I hadn't seen.
Run a lot of offensive plays you didn't see either.
Yeah. So is that? Do we intentionally? I mean, when you play in Indiana versus and I'm not knocking Akron, but a step up. Can you hide more stuff to start your conference season?
I don't think there's any question. I mean, and Scott's been saying that for weeks, that they've been
the Vandy game. They ran the same 3 running plays the entire football game.
they're when you play in the SEC and you have the gauntlet that you have to play, I don't blame them.
No, not at all.
I just don't blame them. I mean, why go out and try to get another Power 5? I don't understand.
If you're a team that has playoff potential, I can see trying to go out and play somebody else.
I agree with that.
UK needs to chase 9 to 10 wins, and that's the recipe right now. Now, if they get over that hump, I'd love to see them play like an Ohio State or a Michigan or something like that. I think it'd be very cool.
Yeah.
But until you get there.
Something else to keep in mind if you're wagering on the game this weekend, because now that's legal in Kentucky. Last year,
now that it's legal.
Yeah, I could not understand last year. Kirby Smart just handed it off. It was the most boring game I've ever seen. They were so much better up front. It was move the chains, hand it off. And it was kind of that way the year before. And will we see Kirby do that again? Or what? I don't know if y'all remember that last year.
No, until UK shows they can stop them, why would you?
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing with Florida. The Florida game last week, they couldn't stop him. So why?
And now that
why not?
and the clock doesn't stop on moving the chains. This clock, it could be a fast game.
It could be a really fast game. I thought the same thing. So I'm glad you brought that up. This could be one of the fastest games of the year.
Oh, I agree.
Not used to those 6 o'clock at night games being over by 8:30 or 9, but most time it's 10:30 or 11. It seems like, but.
I think, I was really, Kentucky had great energy. Their kicker's solid. I'm just waiting on Leary. I mean, I looked again today. I looked at his numbers at NC State. I mean, he put up some really good numbers before the first injury. And when he came back, the numbers weren't as good. So I don't know your thoughts on Leary.
I want to see the receivers catch more balls. He's got the second most amount, I've heard this week, second most amount of drops by receivers in the nation. Now, if you catch some of them passes, then and not all of them have been perfect, but if they get their hands on it, I mean, you need to catch it. And if they had caught those passes, it's a whole different outlook, I think. But like I said, you'll find out a whole lot this week, because they're like y'all said earlier, they're not going to be running down Georgia's throat. They don't have to be able to pass the ball.
Well, they're going to stack the box. I don't think there's any question whatsoever they're going to put 7-8 guys in the box all day long, because I mean, Ray Davis is for real. Yeah. He is a NFL caliber running back.
And who would have thought? I mean, everybody's worried about losing Rodriguez. Now he's better than Rodriguez.
He is better than Rodriguez. He is. He just is now.
I mean, the guy from NC State that's not getting any carries, I can't pronounce his name.
DMD. They use his initials.
And he had a couple great games at NC State last year. He can't get on the field. McLean's getting the second duty carry, second string carry. So
mouse on the loose.
Yeah, we're all good. Lindsey Wilson women just scored, by the way. They're up 1-0.
I didn't hear you say goal. Yeah, that's good.
Now, if I was there calling the game, it might be different. But a really big win. And again, they play Georgia under the lights down in Athens, 6 o'clock kickoff. We talked Ray Davis, 250 yards, 280 yards. Is it 250 or 280?
280.
280. Had 3 rushing touchdowns. But the defense, defense, 3 sacks and 9 TFLs. That's just a good day against Florida. I mean, it's a good day against
80-some yards rushing. Of course, they got behind the 8 ball early, going down 24-0. They had to get away from the
They
run.
were just so much more physical.
They were able to get pressure with their front four. They didn't have to bring, but when they did come, they had some kind of things I hadn't seen. Some blitz packages too.
And the crowd was electric. It was just, of course, Lindsey's playing at the same time, so I didn't get to watch it. And I went back and watched it that night, and it was impressive showing by UK. They finally jumped into the poll. They're number 20 this week, and then now ahead, getting ready to take on the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs, who obviously is number 1 for. They haven't lost in what, 2.5 years?
Yeah, 20. How many was it straight? 24, 25 straight.
Yeah,
something like that.
So they hadn't lost in a while.
Yeah.
But they haven't looked as dominant this year as they have in the past, and that's why a lot of people. There was you talked about the sports betting in Kentucky. I read at some point in time after the line came out, it was by far the most bet game.
It went from 19.5 to 14.5
in a
quick
heartbeat.
Yeah, quick.
So that
shows you where the money was coming in.
That's exactly right. Yeah, no doubt about it. So UK and Georgia on Saturday. U of L, they jumped up into the polls. They're number 25 with a 5-0 start. They had a 13-10 win at North Carolina State. Let me tell you what I was impressed by that game is we've seen them put up 40, 50 points. Against bad teams or, inferior teams. I wouldn't say bad teams, but inferior teams. And I thought, okay, this North Carolina State's a solid club, and their defense showed up. And they were down 10-0 at halftime, just whittled their way back and ultimately won. I think they had a 53-yard field goal with about 5 minutes to go to take a 13-10 lead and then hung on. So it was a good win for them.
Yeah, he's going to be dangerous, and maybe next year, definitely 2 years when he starts to get some of his players. He's got a game manager back there in Plummer, in my opinion. He's not going to dazzle you, but he's going to make the simple play, and he's going to move the chains. But they got a tall task ahead of them this weekend.
Before we talk anymore, I got to tell you this: the NIL deal was on full display in Louisville on a board. You know what I'm hearing you say?
Yes.
So there's a big billboard on I-65. It's just before you get into downtown, and it says the 2 best plumbers in town, and it's got Jack Plummer on one side and some dude who's a plumber. It's awesome.
I love it.
Great?
That's great.
That is great.
Who would have thought of that?
But
I saw a story on the news about that, and they had the agent that brought that together. He said, I never thought of it. And he said, this plumber, the company came to him and said, you think you can get this done? And he said, that's the greatest idea ever.
It's fantastic. It was really, really good. When I passed it on Sunday, I thought that's really good. They take on Notre Dame this week, though.
Yeah.
At home.
A devastating loss for Duke. I mean, I don't know if you guys were watching, but Notre Dame converted a 4th and 16 with 50 seconds to go at midfield to basically move the chains. Ended up scoring a touchdown. They only needed a field goal.
Right.
But 4th and 16, and Hartman scrambled out of the pocket. He's a good player. Transfer from Wake Forest. Offensive and defensive lines, I think, is where the difference is. I don't think Notre Dame is just dynamic offensively.
I think Louisville keeps it close.
I
could see them winning.
But I just think up front, I think Notre Dame is superior. That's just my opinion.
It'll be interesting because, and this is not in any way, shape, or form a dig at U of L because it's just not. But I'm so used to seeing them on Thursdays or Fridays. I mean, this is a primetime game on Saturday. Yeah. They're on where are they at? They're on ABC primetime game, 6:30. I mean, that's huge. And so, how do they handle it? That's my question.
Well, they'll be emotionally pumped up. I really like the composure of the Notre Dame coach. He was on the hot seat there at the end of his first year, and he's kind of gotten things settled down. Having Hartman back there, that's just a huge advantage for Notre Dame in that game.
He's so cool.
You compare him and Plummer, that's just a huge. He's really good, and. But I've watched Notre Dame play. I've watched Louisville play. I've watched Notre Dame play. I just think offensive and defensive lines. They get the best players, top players up in that part of the country, in the Northeast. Yeah. So they're really good.
I'm like Scott. I think Louisville keeps it close. I think they may have a shot to win it at the end.
It could be the wildest. Whatever. It's not Papa John's anymore. Whatever it's called. It could be the wildest it's been in. 7 or 8 years when they were rolling back then. Since Lamar played.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 nationally ranked games where ranked team versus ranked team. We mentioned Georgia hosting Kentucky. You've got Texas hosting Oklahoma.
Red River.
That'll be a big one. Did they? No, they had to play last year, right?
Yeah, they play every year.
Yeah. Well, they won't next year, right?
Yeah. They're both going this season.
Oh, that's right. They both go this. That's right.
Yeah, they'll keep that. That's like the Auburn, Alabama. They'll keep that. Right. I'm anxious to see if they don't make Texas A&M a permanent thing again.
Could be. You've got Notre Dame and Louisville, and the other one is Missouri, who's ranked 24, and number 23 LSU. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but LSU, a lot of people said at the beginning of the year that they were national contenders for national championship. Am I wrong?
No, that's what they were saying.
A lot of people had them win in the West, and now they're 23rd. They're coming off another loss.
And if they lose this one, they're done.
They're very talented on the offensive side of the ball, but defensively, they just. I don't know if y'all watched the Ole Miss game, but it was like
I didn't know they had defense in that game.
There was no defense
in either team. Game. Nobody was being physical. It was just so I was really disappointed in LSU's defense, and I know Brian Kelly's a defensive guy. He's at Notre Dame, so it's kind of scratching my head with Notre Dame or with LSU.
That's there's some really good games this week. Even Alabama's at Texas A&M. That'll be a good game, I think.
Who would have thought going into the season that wouldn't be 2 ranked teams?
Yeah,
it's not.
It's not. You're exactly right. Ohio State's hosting Maryland.
That'd be a sneaky good game there too.
It could be. That's one of those early morning. That's some late morning kickoffs, 11 a.m. on Fox. So some good games this week in the top 25.
Good weekend for an off week, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's a good point. Western Kentucky beat MTSU this weekend, 31-10. So congratulations to the Toppers. They're now 3-2. They'll travel to La Tech. It's on Thursday night. This tomorrow night on ESPNU.
Yeah, actually, we got some Wednesday night action tonight. Got 2 games.
Middle Tennessee tonight.
Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State.
Is there
Fighting Rich Rods?
Is there any day of the week where there's not at least one football game? Tuesdays?
Right now, Tuesdays, but when Maction heats up, that'll be Tuesday MAC games.
It's crazy.
And your other game is Florida International, New Mexico State. But there is football on TV tonight.
But I don't blame those teams like that.
I don't either.
It's a long time like they'd ever be on TV without. If they try to play them all on Saturdays or even Thursdays, even those games will be on TV tonight.
And I said something about Louisville earlier. I don't blame them for playing Thursday night. I don't blame them for playing Friday.
I love it. UK used to play South Carolina on Thursdays. I used to love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get to, I want to talk baseball and NFL here in a minute, but before we do that, UK basketball announced, was it today, that they've signed a 4-game series with IU, Indiana.
Oh, they announced that yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
They had another announcement today.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that one in just a second. But
I'm glad for that.
Are you?
I really am.
I could care less.
I could either.
Of course, I was always a Bobby Knight guy, so I always.
But this is not Bobby. Bobby Knight's gone.
I know, but it's still Indiana, so I was always look forward to that game.
So they're playing at Rupp
twice
in year 1,
and
year
3.
2 RCA Dome, year 3 back at Rupp, and then they go to Assembly Hall in year 4.
And that's the only way you can ever do it. They talked about it all day. You can guarantee Calipari's not going to be coaching in 2029 because that's when
That's probably true.
That's why he done it that way. He won't be coaching. So
that's probably true. Scott, I'll let you say the other big news that happened today.
Please don't, because I don't know his name. Big Z's all I've heard. The Croatian sensation
Wanamir
has gotten admitted into UK.
Yeah.
Here's the problem now, though. He's still not eligible for the by the NCAA, but Matt Jones says they don't think it'll be a problem.
No.
So
they couldn't. They had to do this first step first.
Right. But it's front court depth. I mean, that's a 7'2" kid that can play out on the perimeter too. I mean, it can't hurt anything.
Here's my only thing about it, and I think it's great, and I'm happy that the young man's going to get to play and all this. I'm happy for UK. They're making this out with this whole Free Z thing that he is the next coming,
right?
And I mean, maybe he is. I don't know, but I mean, they are setting that kid up to fail, and that's what scares me the most about it.
Yeah. They say it could be a late first round pick as of right now, but I don't know. That's a good point there, though. I mean, I don't think he's going to have to be a savior, really. I mean, Bradshaw is, if he can play, that's going to be the key to it. If he can play, Bradshaw's legit. And but the thing about him, Bradshaw and this kid both, is they don't have to be a player that's on the block. Now, the other big guy, he's a block player, but Matt Jones was saying on KSR today that he's got a feeling that I can never think of his name. No, it's not Umo. The other center, the other 7-foot center that
I know you're talking.
that broke his foot or ankle or whatever he did up there right before the Toronto trip. Matt Jones is hearing that he may not be back this year, just because it's going to take so long for it to heal. There's not going to be enough time left in the season for him to be back.
Gotcha.
To get back in shape and all that kind of stuff. So I won't be shocked to see him use a red shirt year, which you don't ever hear that anymore, but it's what it could be.
All right, men, Major League Baseball playoffs are now underway. We
love it. Love the playoffs.
One series is already over. It took exactly 27 hours.
Yeah, and the Devil Rays scored a run.
All run.
They couldn't get a guy to second, but they finally did push one across, but got shut out in game one, scored one today, got beat 7-1. So Chris, how do you win 99 games and you don't show up?
Well,
at home.
And here's the thing. Now I'm not defending the Rays at all, but man, they've had so many injuries late in the year.
And remember the start they had.
Yeah.
They were red hot to start the year. And they won. They were like 40-10 at one time or something like that. It was crazy.
But Texas beat them in the best 2 out of 3 at Tampa Bay, 2-0. They won today. Minnesota and Toronto are playing right now. Minnesota leads that series 1-0. And the last I heard, are you looking at the score?
2-0, middle of the seventh.
Chris, the excitement in Minnesota didn't have a playoff win for 18 years. I think it's right. 2004. I think that's right.
Yeah.
They were really excited.
Yeah.
And
it was the exact opposite in Tampa. I mean, where nobody showed up.
Nobody.
But let me ask you this.
23,000. I heard the attendance
today.
Let
me ask you this. How fair is it to play back-to-back games at 2 o'clock in the afternoon
you think they would kind of switch some stuff around a little bit.
It's just a little unfair. I would
it's
think.
warm outside, too. That's the thing.
Well, they're in a dome. They're inside, but I mean, it's just that's not really fair to that community. I mean, the people got jobs. I mean,
but you look at it too, time zone wise, the Twins are playing at 3 o'clock their time.
I guess,
and that place is packed. I hope they can advance because I want to see it be 25 degrees up there because they play open air now up there. And the way they're talking about the weather coming in next week, it could very well be
in Minnesota.
Have you?
Yeah, we got a family member who lives up there, and we took a little trip last year or 2 years ago, and got to watch the Twins game. But a beautiful venue, it really is.
It looks awesome. Texas,
would you call that the frozen tundra?
Yeah. Texas moves on to take on Baltimore, who's the number 1 seed in the AL. The winner of the winning team of the series between Minnesota and Toronto, and as of right now, it could be Minnesota today, would take on Houston. That's in the AL, in the ALDS. I'm a little concerned about our Orioles. Orioles. And we've for those of you who don't know, or if you've just listened, we got on before the bandwagon. We were well out in front of it. We were talking about the Orioles when they were a triple-digit loss team. Mm-hmm. That's probably the reason we were talking about them.
One of my favorite segments ever. We do it every week.
That's right.
Where's the Orioles?
That's right. But now that they are a triple-digit win team, I'm worried because Texas can play.
And they lost their closer.
Yeah,
he's out for the rest of the year, and that gets scary there when you got a one run lead or a tie ball game late, and you don't have the guy that's had the second most saves in the American League to go to.
I just think that they've got the best team. I like Baltimore in that series. That's just me. I know Texas is playing well, but
I just don't want Houston to come out of there, and I'm just afraid that they're going to. Honestly, I'm just not a Houston fan after that.
I would love to see a Baltimore Minnesota ALCS.
Awesome.
Just because those are two teams you don't small market baseball. That's just kind of cool to me. I don't know. I don't want Houston to get there, and I don't want the Dodgers to get there. That's my two.
You guys remember a guy named Kirby Puckett?
Yep, of course.
He was Mr. Twin for a long time. He was
him and Frank Viola.
And, I think Kirby passed away.
He did
a while ago, actually.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you another name.
Good player.
You remember Dan Gladden?
Yeah,
I don't remember him.
Yeah,
but I remember Kirby.
Kent Herbeck.
Yep. He was first baseman.
Yep. And the third baseman is another
Gaetti.
Yep, it was.
Gary Gaetti.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Let's go to the National League side for just a few minutes. The Marlins trail the Phillies 1-0. That game's later tonight, the second game of that series. Arizona upset Milwaukee in game one, so they lead that series 1-0. They were down 3-0 to the Milwaukee Ace and came back and won it 6-3. Those two games later today, they'll try to get to advance to take on Atlanta and the Dodgers.
Can anybody stop Atlanta?
No,
of course, you get in these series like this, you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. But it's they don't. There's not an easy out in that lineup.
There's not an easy out in that lineup.
Especially since they got DHs now. I mean, it's just a murderer's row.
All right, that's the baseball. And in our last segment, before we get out of here, let's talk a little NFL. Mr. John Shelley over there, he is he's kind of our resident odds maker. And I just want to know what your thought was on the Kansas City game the other night when Patrick Mahomes had an easy touchdown and he slides down and costs all kinds of Kansas City fans all kinds of money.
$80 million bet on the Chiefs, $20 million bet on the Jets. So it was a big swing for the casino.
And he could have walked in. And he slides.
I think 8 out of 10 times you go in there and score the touchdown because that's going to put you up. It's going to put you up 10.
Yeah, I know. That's why if it was something just put you up 2 or 3 or something, or no, you couldn't do that because you'd score.
But hey, how did Taylor Swift bet? That's the key. We got to know how Taylor. She was in the box there, but no.
If you all get a chance, it's kind of the Taylor Swift thing. If you get a chance, watch the Kelsey Brothers podcast. It is the greatest thing ever.
It's good.
It's really good. I love it, especially when they get their parents on there. That's the best thing when they get their parents on there talking. Could you imagine that family though having 2 NFL superstars?
Played at the University of Cincinnati, but I was a little, and I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have a side on it, but I was a little surprised, but. Whatever.
I knew you was going to ask about the Bengals first thing.
No,
it's coming up.
Bengals. We only got like 90 seconds. Bengals at Arizona this week, and my Cowboys at San Francisco. Huge game.
Big game. I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati.
Burrow's just not right.
Burrow's hurt.
Yeah,
Burrow's hurt, but there was a little bit of friction with Chase with some post game comment. I don't know, but they got to figure it out. They're not.
He said he was open every play.
Yeah, he said I'm open.
Cowboys at the 49ers. Does my boys have a shot?
49ers are good. They're really good.
Oh, the Cowboys got a shot.
Yeah, I think they got a shot, no doubt.
But I think
defense. I think
Is it Diggs?
I think it's a NFC Championship preview. I mean, I think those are two best teams in NFC.
Could be. All right. Thanks to our sponsors, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, our title sponsors always, JNS Auto Sales. That'll do this week. Join us next week, same time, same channel right here on WAIN 101.9 CBS Sports Radio. For John Shelley, Scott Bennett, and Austin Armstrong, I'm Chris Wells. This has been the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
Listening to CBS Sports Radio.
Yes, you are, and welcome on in.